Hello. In this session, we will get introduced to Azure DevOps. In general, DevOps is a set of practices that combines software development and IT operations. It aims to shorten the system development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. Azure DevOps provides various services like boards, pipelines, repos, test plans, and artifacts. In this session, we will be focusing on Azure repos. Right now, for our project, we are using GitHub as a source code repository. We can continue using it and still use other Azure DevOps features like pipeline and task boards. But instead of using two different services, why not to use one and simplify things for the future? So let us use Azure DevOps repository from now onward. The very first step, you need to log into dev.azure.com. Once you logged in, the screen will look like this. By default, one organization will be created for you. You can create multiple organizations if required. And in this organization, we can create multiple projects. We can visualize structure something like this. Inside our DevOps account, we can have multiple organizations. Organization can have multiple projects. And inside the project, we get access to DevOps services like repos, pipelines, and boards. So let us create a new project, Project Orion, underneath the default organization. Please ignore this other organization here. Let us create Project Orion. Let us write some description for it. And let us make it public. In background, Git will be used as a version control system. Here we can use a different work item process. Let us select Agile and click on Create Project. Once the project is created, we want to use the repository service. You can see by default it provides one repository. One option to use this default repository to start fresh. You can go ahead with it. You just need to clone using this URL. Once you created a working directory on your local system, by cloning this repository, you can add your project in it and then commit and push it to the repository. But we don't want to use this approach. We already have repository on GitHub. So we would like to import that repo as it is to this Azure repository. For that purpose, we will be using import option. As we want to clone our existing GitHub repository, we need URL of that repository. So go to your GitHub repository and copy this URL. As this is public repository, you can follow this step as it is. Now let us go back to our DevOps portal. Click on import button and paste that URL here. Click on import option. And in few seconds, it will import that GitHub repository here in our Azure DevOps repository. Go to the branches and let us make main branch as our default branch. So with this, we have all that GitHub code in our Azure DevOps repository with all the branches and history. Now to clone this repository, click on repos, click on this clone button and copy this URL. Go to your Windows Explorer, create folder where you want to clone the project, name it something like Orion API, and inside this folder we want to clone it. So we can use Visual Studio to clone it. Launch your Visual Studio, click on clone repository, paste the URL, select the folder that we just created, and click on clone button. You can see the project is cloned. In Visual Studio, you can see something like this. To view it as a solution, just double click on this file and your solution view is ready. So you have source folder with application, domain, infrastructure and web. So now onwards, we will be using this new repository. There are few other things related to repository like creating pull request, reviewing the pull request and merging it to main branch that we will see as we will need it. For now, let us stop here. If you find this content useful, please like and subscribe. If you wish to receive a notification whenever a new episode is published, then do not forget to hit the bell icon and click all option in the frequency dropdown. Thank you.